Welcome back everyone. We're going to be doing a comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S10 and the OnePlus 8 Pro. Now the OnePlus 8, the standard version, is probably a better comparison, but I'll be doing that one probably right after this one. So I'm going to be comparing everything from the build quality to the speed to the camera and everything. I will probably end up doing separate speed and camera comparisons at some point, but for now this is pretty much a full in-depth comparison between the two. And I've been using both these phones a lot. I've been doing a lot of comparisons between them. The Galaxy S10 came out last year, a little bit over a year ago, and honestly it hasn't even aged that much. And even looking at them side by side, could you even tell which one is newer or older? I don't really think you could. I mean, they look almost identically the same. This one just kind of looks like the S10 Plus. They just put the camera on the other side. But pricing wise, this phone, I think it cost me over $1,000. This is the top tier model, I think. They have a $899 model, then they have this model, and I think this one cost me over $1,000. Whereas on the Galaxy S10, it cost me around $1,000 when I bought it last year. But you can pick one of these up for less than $420, which is insane. That is an extremely good price to pay for a phone like this, and I'll go ahead and leave both of these linked down in the description below so you can get them on Amazon for the cheapest prices that I find and help support the channel at the same time. Now looking on the front, I'll go ahead and start off with the Galaxy S10 because it is the older phone. This one has a 6.1 inch dynamic AMOLED display. It is 1440p, and I said this last year and I'll say it again, this is probably one of the best panels I've ever seen in my life, and I just think it's a little bit better than the Galaxy S20. Of course the S20 has a 120Hz refresh rate, which makes it better, but just something about this panel just looked so good to me every time I use it. Anytime I do anything with it, you know, the blacks obviously are turned off. The screen looks really good, the colors are super vivid, and Samsung did a really good job on this display. And the hole punch display in the top right corner, I very rarely ever notice it. It's just kind of like, it's not even in your face, it's just off to the side. So definitely I think the way this phone looks and the way the screen is, I think it's definitely a huge plus, you know what I mean? You have very little bezel around the whole entire display, and even though you don't have any like refresh rate, you know, upgrades or anything, I still think for the average user this is still an extremely good phone. And even just for beyond the average user, even for someone like me, this panel is still extremely great. So I'll definitely say the Samsung Galaxy S10 has a very good panel, whereas on the OnePlus 8 Pro, we have a 6.78 inch fluid AMOLED display. This is a 1440p panel, and obviously you have the hole punch display too, very little bezel around the whole entire design. And like I stated before, I mean, that's kind of like exactly like the Galaxy S10, except the hole punch display is off to the other side and it's just bigger overall. And I can definitely tell you, one of my favorite things about this phone would definitely be that 120Hz refresh rate. Now, as I've stated before, it's kind of hard to demonstrate it over the camera, but it's definitely one of those coolest, it's just one of those cool like features that you're going to be using every single day. My only fear is that I'm going to get used to 120Hz, and then I would want something better than that. But even at that point, the 120Hz refresh rate on the OnePlus 8 Pro is still extremely great, and the screen is really good too. You know, it's a 1440p panel like I stated, and really there's not too much to hate on it. It's a good panel. Between both though, like I would probably still end up siding with the OnePlus 8 Pro because of that 120Hz refresh rate, but the panels on them are extremely good, and I don't think one really blows the other one out of the water like if you're just looking at them like this. But of course a 120Hz refresh rate is extremely cool on the OnePlus 8 Pro. On the bottom, USB Type-C ports on both. The Galaxy S10 does have a headphone jack, which is extremely rare to see on a phone. And on the back, quadruple setup on the OnePlus 8 Pro, but a triple camera setup on the Galaxy S10. Glass backs on both. They both have wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, which is really cool. And when it comes down to the feel and the build quality in your hands, one really doesn't blow the other one out of the water. The OnePlus 8 Pro is noticeably bigger. One thing that I always want to hit on is that with the back of the OnePlus 8 Pro, the camera module just sticks out so much, whereas on the S10 it's recessed more into the design. So that is honestly something that's kind of annoying. But in terms of the way they feel, the matte texture on the glass back on the OnePlus 8 Pro feels really good. The Samsung Galaxy S10 is still extremely good too, so I don't think really one blows the other one out of the water there. But when it comes down to it, I'll probably end up saying that the OnePlus 8 Pro might be the better built phone. It feels a little bit more premium, but the Samsung Galaxy S10 is right behind it. This phone is noticeably heavier, where this phone kind of is a little bit lighter. So if you're kind of somebody who wants to use a smaller phone, the Galaxy S10 might just allow that for you. So now that we have that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the software. And this is probably one area where the OnePlus is probably just more dominant in. Well, the OnePlus 8 Pro is just getting started with updates. You know, it started off with Android 10. It is on Oxygen OS, which is one of my favorite versions of Android. And it's going to be getting multiple versions of Android. It's going to be lasting for a very long time. at least for an Android phone. I think by my estimates, it's probably going to end on Android 13. It's a couple more years from now, which is going to be pretty insane. So the OnePlus 8 Pro is definitely going to be lasting for a minute now, where the Samsung Galaxy S10, where, based on Samsung's previous behavior, we're already kind of halfway through its life cycle, which is extremely sad to say. This phone had a lot of potential, and it still has, but it's really weird what Samsung does, and I don't really know what they're doing. It's on Android. It started with Android Pie. Right now it's on Android 10. It's going to probably end on Android 11 though, which is really sad. So it is what it is. There's really nothing we can do about it. But when it comes down to it, the Samsung Galaxy S10 will probably not last as long as the OnePlus 8 Pro in terms of software. So that really pretty much covers it up there. Now I'll go and hit on the specs a little bit, and I'll go do a speed comparison between them. The Samsung Galaxy S10 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chipset, an octa-core CPU, and Adreno 640 GPU, and 8 gigs of RAM on that base model and 8 gigs of RAM on that top tier model, so they're the same. The OnePlus 8 Pro, however, has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chipset, an octa-core CPU, and Adreno 650 GPU, and 8 gigs of RAM on that base model and 12 gigs of RAM on that top tier model. Now I do have that top tier model, but I'm not going to be comparing the RAM for now. I'm going to do that in a separate comparison. So with that being said, let's go and see which one is the faster one. Okay, let's go and clear out all the apps in the background and make sure everything is Gucci. Okay, so I already have like all these apps. Let's go and do these ones. Let's do the original Temple Run, 3, 2, 1. I'm probably gonna have to restart this one because I'm probably in a game on. No, I'm not. Okay. And that one was kind of tough. I'm not really 100% too sure. They both looked kind of the same. Maybe you guys over the camera can tell me what you guys are looking at, but let's do Snake vs. Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And I think the Galaxy S10 was actually a little bit faster than the OnePlus 8 Pro. That was kind of surprising. Let's go and see what the gameplay is, and they look almost exactly the same, to be honest. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. And the OnePlus 8 Pro was noticeably ahead of the Samsung Galaxy S10. Getting into some gameplay that look almost the same. Snapchat, 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same. Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And for some reason it crashed on my Galaxy S. Oh, then we got into it. That was really weird. I don't even know what happened there. I think the OnePlus 8 Pro was way faster. That was really weird. I've never seen that before, I don't think. Bofa, 3, 2, 1. Okay, OnePlus 8 Pro, a little bit ahead for sure. Doodle Jump, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that one was a little tricky to see. Amaze, 3, 2, 1. And I think the Galaxy S10 was slightly faster there. Facebook, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Twitter, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Galaxy S10 was faster there. We can do Paper IO 2 if we have it here. I don't think we do. Let's go and end it off with the Real Racing 3. 3, 2, 1. Hopefully we don't have to download anything on either of these phones, because then that's going to be really weird. And we might not have to. And as you can see, the OnePlus 8 Pro is loaded, and the Samsung Galaxy S10 eventually gets into it. So, I mean, what I can tell you is I can test these apps all day. I can probably break it down like this. Both phones are extremely good performing phones in my opinion, but I do think the OnePlus 8 Pro, more times than not, is the faster phone. I think it can definitely handle more loads when it comes down to it. So I'll definitely tell you in terms of performance, the OnePlus 8 Pro is probably the better performing phone. And I'll do a full separate speed test maybe at some point, and I'll do full separate camera tests too, but I'll briefly hit on them in this video. The OnePlus 8 Pro has a quadruple camera setup. The Samsung Galaxy S10 has a triple camera setup. A 12 megapixel wide angle lens, 12 megapixel telephoto lens, and then a 16 megapixel ultra wide sensor on the Samsung Galaxy S10. Whereas on the OnePlus 8 Pro, we have a 48 megapixel wide angle lens, an 8 megapixel telephoto lens, a 48 megapixel ultra wide sensor, and then a 5 megapixel depth sensor. And they both can do 4K at 60, which is really cool. But in my opinion, I want to say that the Samsung Galaxy S10 still has the better camera quality. I feel like that camera is really, really great. It still has held up extremely well throughout the years, and the OnePlus 8 Pro's camera is still good too. I don't think there's really not too much to hate on it, but I felt like throughout my experience of using both, I've used the S10s extensively, I feel like the Galaxy S10 still has the better camera setup. 10 megapixel sensor on the S10, 16 megapixel sensor on the OnePlus 8 Pro, and even here I would still probably say the Galaxy S10 has the better camera setup. You have the ability to shoot 4K on the Galaxy S10, you can only do 1080p on the OnePlus 8 Pro, so in my opinion, the Galaxy S10 definitely wins in terms of that. Now ending it off with the battery life, the Samsung Galaxy S10 has a 3400 mAh battery, the OnePlus 8 Pro has a 4510 mAh battery, and between both, like I've stated before, I think the OnePlus 8 Pro probably has the better battery life. It has a 4510 mAh battery. That's over 1,000 more milliamp hours than the Galaxy S10, and that's insane. So for sure, at the end of the day, the OnePlus 8 Pro will definitely get you by further in terms of battery life than the Samsung Galaxy S10 for sure. And to kind of sum up the video, man, to answer the question, which one should you pick up? If you have all the money in the world, the OnePlus 8 Pro is probably the better way to go. You're probably getting a better phone. It has a lot going for it, better screen, better battery life. You have a lot of the same features and everything, better performance here, I think. But the Galaxy S10, for the price that you're paying, is extremely good, and I don't think there's a lot of phones in that value in the same market that offer the same value as the Samsung Galaxy S10. So that's pretty much my opinion. Those are my takes on it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys get that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.